Hey folks, this is Casey back once again with another episode of Old Enough to Know Better. Why? Because I am old enough and I should know better. But I don't, because I love video games as much as the rest of you. If you caught me last time with my little video on the Walking Dead pinball table, it was very short, it was an experiment. But as I mentioned there before, I'm with bloodygoodhorror.com. Your home for horror on the web. I'm also part of the Bloody Good Horror podcast, and I'm here this week to talk to you about video games because that is my favorite pastime, my favorite hobby, and how I unstress after work. Or you might call it de-stress. But, you know, like I said, I'm old enough to know better. This week, we're playing some One Finger Death Punch. This is a game I picked up on a Humble Bundle not too long ago. It was in the dollar tier, or the pay what you want tier. I paid $1 at the time. I went back and paid some more later because I have had a lot of fun out of this game. I've had a lot of play time. My library shows I've played 9 hours. I've played through the game once. I'm playing through the master level. I just really love it. It's a lot of fun. It's very frenetic. It's very easy to pick up and play, knock out a couple rounds, move on about your day. It's also very easy to get sucked in for over an hour. This is made by Silver Dollar Games, a little independent game studio that's made a ton of Xbox Live independent games out there. I am not familiar with any of them, but it is an independent game, and as you play through the game and you get to the end, you'll find yourself treated to a nice little video from the developers talking about the beauty of independent games and why they're important and why they should be there, and thanking you for playing. It was a nice touch. Anyways, here we are, One Finger Death Punch. As you can tell by the theme on the screen, it is very much kung fu oriented. I like to think of this as, when I was a kid, I used to like to have imaginary kung fu fights with my G.I. Joe guys, because yes, that's what I was into. And they were some hellacious fights, and this reminds me of the fights that took place in my head as I was making my little action figures do their thing. Just much better. This game is very simple. We're going to click in here. Got some levels. We got 2 different modes, actually. I'll go back one. Here. We've got 2 different modes. We have the levels mode, which is your adventures. You have a map. You unlock levels. You play through different maps, boards, etc. You also have a survival mode that is ongoing. I'll show you that a little bit later. For now, we're going to get into levels. As I've said, I've already played through the student level of the game. I've unlocked master. That's what I've been working on. It's a lot harder. It's a little bit faster. There's a lot more to it. This game is very simple. You have 2 buttons, and as you can see, it tells you down there at the bottom, if you move your mouse around, you have 2 buttons, left mouse button, right mouse button. As we get into the game, you'll notice there's a gauge at the bottom of the screen. You click the left mouse button when they're on the left side. You click the right mouse button when they're on the right side. You have to pay attention to the colors that show up under the numbers, because they're going to tell you you may have to switch on some of your harder ones. You're going to have brawlers and stuff as well. There's not much to this game, so I'm not going to talk your ear off of it. I'm just going to jump in and show it to you. There's a few different modes here. The first one I'm going to show you is Mob Round. We'll show you that. I'm also not going to talk while I'm playing, because I want you to see the action, see how simple it is, and it's really hard to play and talk at the same time because I am not that coordinated. So let's just jump in here. We'll go into just a random area, and we'll try out a mob round.
Silver medal.
There you go. Go me. That's a round of One Finger Death Punch. As you notice, there's different weapons that pop up throughout the game. You might pick up a sword or some nunchucks or any number of different things. You have limited uses. Bows and arrows, unless you have a skill that unlocks more, you may only get one arrow. You may only get one dagger, one bomb. You get a sword for a limited amount of time, but there are skills that you unlock throughout the map that's going to increase those. Sometimes you might get 3 arrows, you might get 3 daggers. This is all well and good, and it is handy because they are quick kills, but at the same time, if you start to develop a rhythm, it could throw you off. It throws me off a lot. Now the game, as you can see, looks pretty simple. The controls are simple. It's easy enough to learn. It's very hard to master, though, because even as much as I've played, it gets confusing after a while because they start switching you around. It becomes quicker and quicker as you're more successful, and sometimes it's just hard to keep up with. Now there are other modes, as I said. We also have a light sword mode, which is as it sounds. You're fighting with a light sword. It's the same formula, the same setup. Just this time, we're fighting with a light sword because it's cool. And there you go. As you can see, brawlers add a little more difficulty because they've added a lot more clicks you got to add in there. They can go very fast. They can catch you off guard if you don't keep up. Throws off your rhythm, stops your pace, and it's all a matter of just trying to throw you off. At no point does One Finger Death Punch take itself overly seriously, as you can see by the 2 levels I've showed you. There's nothing serious about it. The developers themselves will tell you on their website, and they'll tell you on Twitter if you follow them there. They will tell you in the video after you beat the game. This is a 2-button experiment that became far more successful than they ever dreamed it would. And you can tell that it's a 2-button experiment, but it's a great one. It's a good time. And it's a great time killer, and it's a great way just to blow off some steam for a short amount of time. I'll show you a couple of other modes here. We also have boss fights. We have smash modes, which I don't find very exciting. We'll show you a nunchuck round here, because those are fun. Again, this is the same setup as the light sword, except for this time, it's nunchucks. And they're going to throw more guys at you to try and get you to click even faster. Oh yeah. That's some Bruce Lee level stuff right there, folks. And that's about it, really. I could show you some more. I'll show you one more. I'm going to show you a boss round here just so you can see what it's like. There are other modes here. You have some where you have to race and kill everybody in a certain amount of time. You have your boss fights. You have smash modes. You have thunderstorms where they don't show you the colors of who you're fighting. You have a survival mode where you just run. You have 5 hits, or 5 hearts, I should say, and you just fight until you run out of them and see how many you can kill. You have these that give you 5 different modes, the same patterns, but they get faster and faster every time. And the map here is actually pretty big. So we'll click through here some more. And there he is. These little square rounds here are your skills. And I'll show you your skills here before I sign out. So we'll go here. Skills everyone gives you some kind of perk. You got a weapon raid where you get weapons that show up at random. You have Club Master where you get extra clubs. You have Sword Master where you can swing your sword a little bit longer. You get 3 arrows, 3 daggers, 3 bombs. Light them up. Light up all enemies for 10 seconds. Activates after 32 kills. I'm using increased attack range for 10 seconds. Activates after 26 kills. Slow enemies by 25% for 10 seconds. Decrease the speed of your next brawl by 25%. Iron Fist, which forces enemies to back off in fear, activates after 32 kills. These are not going to be game-breaking buffs that you get, but they do help you out in times of need. So there you have it. That is One Finger Death Punch. This is a lot of fun. This is the most game time, or the most fun I've had for my dollar, my literal dollar, in a long, long time. It's common in bundles to get a lot of trash. I won't lie to you. You get a lot of trash games in bundles, especially in the dollar tiers. This one is a bargain. It's a steal. Definitely get it. It's available on Steam right now. I'm not sure what other systems it's on, to be honest with you. I wouldn't be surprised if it's on Xbox. You can play this with a gamepad if you wanted to, so I wouldn't be surprised it's out there. It's available on Steam right now for $4.99, but if you watch the bundles, you might find it for a bargain even cheaper out there. Again, I said that you could play this with the gamepad with 2 buttons. I recommend playing it with the mouse, with the right and left mouse buttons. I believe you can play it with the arrows too. If you could hear while I was playing, you get pretty loud and you're hitting those buttons pretty hard. I found if you're using your thumb, it's really going to wear your wrist out, especially if you're an old fart like me. So there you have it, folks. That's another episode of Old Enough to Know Better. I'm Casey, also known as Cinema Fromage on Steam. Feel free to hit me up at any time. You can find me on Twitter at CaseyBGH. You can find me every week at bloodygoodhorror.com on the Bloody Good Horror Podcast, where we review the newest horror movies for you every week. You can find me twice a month over at bloodygoodhorror.com on the Instamatic. You can find me writing there now. I've been getting back into that, believe it or not. And you can find me once a month at 1951 Down Place. So until next time, bye-bye.